going on, people? You're watching the next part of the Unity sessions on TLDTV. What I really want to know is, what do you think are the most important things to kind of do before getting into a relationship?
I think, so cliche, but I think it is about being whole. I mean, people say that, oh, like, you know, a person can't complete you 100%. That can't happen. And so if there are like flags, like red flags, brokenness, hurt, bitterness, things that you know are like enabling you not to go forward or are causing your broken heart not to be whole, those things definitely need to be addressed. You can't expect another person to come and going to solve your problems, because everybody has issues. And I'm sure you know, as like a married man, that person is just as flawed with their own issues. Talk less of now you're expecting me to come and help you. Like, I'm literally trying to help myself.
Flaws.
This is it. So I think that's like a major misconception. And even like for someone who is like, you know, waiting for marriage, you can almost like idolize it, or when I get married, my life is now going to be this. And I would say that no, start planning those things that apparently are going to make your life. Start doing those things now. So like one thing for me is like finances. For the last maybe 18 months, that's been like a really big thing for me. And I was, which I write about, this mindset that when Mr. Man comes, he's gonna deliver me out of everything and we are going to be balling together. And you know, and maybe we will be, but that doesn't stop me from getting my finances right. I need to get into the habit of saving. I need to get in the habit of good money habits. And so those things I can be doing before he comes and stuff, because we're going to have to share our spending habits, and I don't want to be embarrassed or like all of this debt thinking that you're going to come and rescue me. And so I think practically it's looking at yourself as a whole person, and what are my weakest points? Where do I need to work on those things? And it may be, for some, it may be like some form of therapy. It may be going and joining a group at church, and okay, I'm not very patient, so going to serve somewhere. Serving in church will definitely work your patience and all of that thing. So I think it's really important that you get to work on yourself in a very, not in like spiritual level, praying and everything else, but in a very practical level as well. Like, what are you doing to make yourself better? What are you doing to make yourself even more of a catch to the person that you are aligned with? Because, I mean, God has an assignment for us all, and an assignment as a union. And so if you're still trying to, oh, you know, I'm still wounded, I'm still trying to fix that, then you can't focus on that assignment. So what is it that he has called you to do now? Like, what is the last thing he's told you to do? And that obviously comes from having a very personal relationship with Christ. And so I definitely believe that spouses have a role of bringing us closer to Christ, but not being Christ, not actually praying for, like, they pray for you, they pray with you, but they're not your prayer. Like, you two must pray. You two must fast. You two must read the word. They will help that and supplement that. And obviously there'll be highs and lows in different seasons, but they can't be, oh, when they do it, that's when I do it. So definitely actively, I would say, working out, like Paul said, your salvation with fear and trembling. What does that look like to you on a personal level?
Yeah, got you. It's an interesting one. How would you say, what are the kind of red flags to you that let you know that someone's either not ready for a relationship, or you just need to stay away from this person because they're crazy? What gives it away? I
think the Holy Spirit is, I think we really take him for granted. And I think if we were to slow down a lot more, we would see the things that we probably see months later. Like, oh, I told you. But we're so quick with that one. I'm so quick with my feelings, so quick with my emotions that I almost block him out. But recently I've been really trying to tune in. So I think what kind of things that maybe, for me anyway, would be like a red flag. So my issue is with commitment and honesty. So if it's kind of, and it can just be small things. So it's like, oh no, you're wrong. Oh no, I'm not wrong. Like, chill. Like, okay, like, can you admit that you were wrong? Can you admit that? And stuff, because obviously if we're learning together, I'm going to need you to be able to say that I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Cool. So that's, I guess, like pride and that stuff, like, you know, don't, like a lying spirit, like that's like a big deal and stuff. So those kind of things. And people say all the time, like, how do they speak to people who are maybe below them? So like when you're out together, waiters and people who are meant to be helping them, like what's their attitude like? try and see them in like natural habitats and how they speak about people. Are they always quite quick to cut down? Or are they quite someone who likes to uplift and kind of see the good? Very little subtle things. And I believe, like, you know, God is so kind. Like, when we commit things into his hands, he says that he says, roll your works onto him, okay, and I will straighten your path. So as we are bringing these works onto him, he then tells us, yes, no, yes, no. My issue is that I don't like what he tells me. So I'm like,
You're not the only one. You're the only one.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to keep on going. I hear what you're saying, but no, like, yeah.
You sure, Lord? I'm not sure that was you guys.
Yeah, or Satan, get thee back. Oh my, what a liar. No. Yeah. We're going to keep on going. It's not until like we're in the fire that we're like, oh my gosh, how did I get here, Lord? I'm so sorry. I'll never do this again. And thank
hopefully.
God.
Because sometimes, Lord, how can you let this happen?
This is it. But it's like, you know, thank God, like, he deals with us in love. Like, he's always dealing with us in love. Like, come back. And sometimes we do get burned from our own actions. And like, for me, like, that was one of like my broken points, and I really just had to like look at my whole life. And it wasn't until that moment that he was able to almost rebuild me, and he's consistently rebuilding me with his word and washing me with his word and renewing my mind with his word on certain things. But I think we need to be, again, open and honest with ourselves and with him, that let me see the things that are not of you, are things that are dangerous. Are they snappy, bad temper, those kind of things. And yeah, I have like 3 key things which I look for. And so if I see anything against those kind of marks, then I'm like, okay, is this, can I deal with this? Is this something that I'll be able to live with? You know, because it's always a big mistake when we think we can change someone. So as they are, could you take them as they are? If they never changed, is this good enough?
Yeah.
And if it's not, then it's unfair to them for you to be trying to be their chisel, and I'm just gonna get that point. Like, you're not God in their lives.
Because I think this is the thing that breaks so many relationships, and I think especially from a young guy perspective, as well-meaning as it is, it's so hard for it to not come across as controlling. Like, when you're trying to help.
I just think you should do this. Stop.
Yeah, don't go out. No, don't go there. No, we should come back by how long? But you went there already. You go in there, like it's so hard for it to not come across.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of leads on to that kind of sanctification principle. If we feel as though internally we're the ones that are changing ourselves, or if we feel that we are the ones responsible for changing someone else, then I think that very, very often kind of ends badly.
Yeah, in disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, from that spirit. Because it's funny, the other thing made me think of, when you're talking about being made whole, I have a theory, right? I was sitting down one day, I was trying to figure out this love thing. I was like, there has to be a kind of pattern or formula to work. Figure this out, go figure this out. And then, you know how they say about opposites attracting, essentially. So I was thinking deeper. I think the conclusion that I came to is almost as though once we're in a place where we're able to recognize our flaws, either on a superficial level or deep down, you know, yeah, we need to work on this. I think the things that we're missing are the things that we often adore. Like, you know, if I know, okay, I need to work on being responsible, just being responsible for things, responsible for timekeeping and such. If we then meet somebody and we notice, wow, this person's really responsible, because we adore that characteristic, you kind of naturally end up adoring the person that it's in. And that, I think, is probably as close as I came to figuring out a formula where I think, you know, when we say, what do people look for in a partner? I think often the things that we don't have or we're unable to do are the things that we adore in others. And it kind of, I think, draws us towards them. Like, I remember early doors, like, just the way my wife and I handle things is just different. Like, if someone's done something to me or someone's caused offense and tactic, I kind of bring them to the side and kind of like, yo, the way that you did that. But I'm not sure if that always works. Whereas my wife would just be like in public, are you serious right now? Are you So like, I need to make sure this video goes out and he's not saying anything too controversial. But because I think I adore that characteristic, and I kind of maybe almost wish that I was a bit more like that myself, it kind of made me put her on a pedestal for having that characteristic. And that's the closest I came to the formula. I'm still working on it. But
no, I see where you're coming from.
That's a starting point. So in terms of somebody who's trying to be made whole, I think one of the things that I guess you have a division in the pathway is there's things that, well, like we just said, the person that you're looking for will put on a pedestal, and then there's certain things that us ourselves will put on a pedestal. To what extent do you think the changes we need to make are individual based on the person we're in a relationship with? Do you think we should change this based on ourselves, or something we feel God drawing us towards, or do you think we need to make adjustments of self to cater to the person that we're with?
I think it's probably a mixture of everything. I think first of all, the change needs to come from the Holy Spirit, and God will use people. So like your parents, your siblings, your close friends, obviously people that you trust. And if people are saying similar things, it's kind of like, okay, even though I can't see it clearly, it must be like a problem. And then it's going to people that you trust. Like, so what is it when you say like, what is it that you mean? And that takes obviously a lot of humility. And that's why you need to go to people who love you, because sometimes someone who I'm very like I kind of like love feedback, and not just like praise. Like, okay, tell us what wasn't good. Okay, tell me how I can make it better. So if you do that, but then go to the wrong person, they can actually use that to break you down, and then that can cause a lot of insecurity. So it's really important that when we do ask those questions, that we're doing it in a safe place with people who want your best interests at heart. You know, God wants our best interests at heart. Our parents want our best interests at heart. Our mentors, spiritual leaders, they want our best interests at heart. So go and see people who love you, that can lovingly say, look, this is a mess. Like, we tried to say it once, okay, cool. But then once you've made a decision to be with someone, then there has to be compromise. Literally, two lives are coming together to make one. So you have to be willing to compromise. It can't be a case, well, this is how I've been doing it and this is how we're doing it now. That is no way going to work. But there has to be like a balance, hasn't there? So in a case of, because I love you, I'm willing to do this, and because you love me, you're willing to do this. But the minute one party uses those things to, like you said earlier, to control or to almost have some mold into your vision, then that's when it becomes dangerous. And so God will definitely use people around us to speak those things that he wants us to change into. And I think then using the people that we know love us to be like, okay, like, fine, I know I need to do better. Clearly, I need to do better with this. And then it's like, Lord, help me. Oh, here's an opportunity now for you to be more patient. Don't kick off. Holy Spirit, be a mouth guard. Help me not speak right now because I'm about to kick off. But then it's that. It's like, you see, I was trying to, I saw, well done. That kind of thing. So I think it's a mixture of all three. But, you know, again, like we were saying before, but it's not in hope that in me changing to be more like what you want, that I'm going to get some acceptance into you, because the acceptance should already be there. I love you as you are, but I love you so much. I would rather that, like, there's a better, and I'm saying that this is better. And because I love you, you should trust me in that, and vice versa. But when that becomes, well, if you do this, then maybe you can be accepted, and that's where we, you know, we have like those like kind of toxic relationships where people are literally losing themselves in hope that they can be the person, whoever they're with, can love them or be more accepting. Jesus doesn't do that to us, so nobody else, we shouldn't see people do that to us either. Neither should we do that to others.
Because I hear wild things. Like, I hear, this is stats that I have looked up now. It's like 1 in 3 women are being abused domestically. 1 in 5 men are being abused domestically. It's a struggle. It's a struggle in my mind, I guess, maybe because I don't have that actual personal experience myself to kind of compute it. But yeah, I think within those, just kind of a lot of the things that kind of are brought up are somehow just erased away or disguised as love and that kind of thing. What advice would you give somebody in that situation?
Wow, who was being like abused or like manipulated by their partner? Wow, first of all, I'd ask them to please speak to someone that they love, that they can trust, and get help. If it's a marriage, then it's not maybe a case of divorce, whatever, but maybe a case of get out and make yourself safe. Like, I don't think, oh, God would want me to stay in this situation. So you can
that sounds like divorce to me.
Like, be so. But I mean, it could be like separation until that person and develops change behaviour and you can work out what the problem is and then it's solved. So it doesn't have to be like divorce is really permanent. Like, it could mean if they are married for separation. If it's like a relationship, like they're not married, I would really ask that person that you need to seriously pray that, is this someone that you can marry? Because if they're showing those characteristics now, then what about when the stresses of life come, when children come, when their financial stresses come, if it's sickness or, whatever, like real life happens all the time. Yeah. So if you're not bound by the constraints of marriage, then think, can you handle this for a lifetime? Is this something that you desire for forever? But my first would always be seek help, like forever, like don't bottle it up, don't like do this whole facade, this pretend like, yeah, couple goals on Instagram, you're posing with someone and they're like being horrible to you, they're beating you down physically, emotionally, verbally, whatever it may be. You would need to speak to someone, get help, voice your concerns, like their experiences matter. And I think sometimes when we are in like a dark place, we often think that it's my fault or I've caused this somehow. And that maybe or may not be, but it's to get help. And it's to speak to someone that you love and you trust. And love and trust enough to say something that you may not want to hear. Because I think today in the society we're living in is, if you love me, you tell me what I want to hear. And so, no, if I love you, I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And it should be grace and truth. That's what Jesus came with. He came with grace and truth. But truth nonetheless. And I think sometimes we almost want to sugarcoat things and avoid the truth. Like, I don't want to hurt your feelings. But like, sometimes our feelings may need to be hurt so that we can, as a whole, can be saved. So we can be out of harm's way. So that's what I would encourage someone to do. And obviously praying, but there's also a very physical aspect of seeking help. And temporarily, at least, removing yourself from any harm's way.